So I'm here from Yes Bank, and I think Yes Bank is fairly familiar with, I think all of you are fairly familiar with Yes Bank, and it is an Indian institution. So like the minister mentioned this morning, we are a completely homegrown Indian bank. We are the fourth largest bank in the country, and we have created more than 18,000 jobs in this country. We now have a branch network of more than 1,100 branches. And we have done all of this in the last 14 years. Yes Bank was also a startup when we started in 2004. We were a very small institution. We started with corporate banking, slowly got into retail banking, and expanded our network. I think those kind of stories are always possible. And in India, the kind of platform which India provides to startups is phenomenal. There is a lot happening, and I don't think we need to get too pessimistic about India or the situation that is there right now. It's an excellent story which in the inaugural session we've heard so far about digitization. And I don't know, I mean, I feel that we might not have tourism in our DNA, or we might not have toilets, but I still see illiterate people using mobiles. And that tells me that we certainly have digitization in our DNA. And I think that is what is going to really take us a long way ahead from here. So at Yes Bank, when we started, obviously there was a lot of competition in the industry. We had to go through, a very difficult phase in our life, and therefore we decided to have a differentiated approach when we started banking. We did not want to be just the lowest, the bank which provides you loans at the lowest rate, and therefore we adopted a motto which we have called ART. At ART, it is alliance, relationships, and technology. And we do this beautifully through technology. I think if anybody is familiar with India, and I'm sure all of you are, then you know, given the demographics of India, the length and breadth of the country, the gender diversity, the economic diversity in the country, the only thing which can really bridge all these issues is technology. And I'm going to be sharing with you a few use cases at Yes Bank, where whatever our speakers were talking earlier, they've told you about things which are happening in smart cities. But what I'm going to tell you is how Yes Bank has made a solution possible in smart cities and actually implemented it. So I'm going to be, sort of completing the next level of technology and really trying to show you how banking is helping technology, reach to the last mile and connect to every Indian in the country. India is definitely in a bright spot, and I think with certain initiatives like Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, India is poised to reach, a GDP of 7 to 8% growth and be the fourth largest economy in the world by 2025. We have also, defined the 4 Ds of banking. So we are working closely with the government on initiatives which they have taken. So when Arvindji was talking about the initiatives which MyGov has taken, and they are trying to emphasize making governance available to each citizen, then that is a development initiative by the government. We try and come in and work on those initiatives. Deregulation is the other one, and therefore we are very strongly professing that India should have an open API policy where anybody who has a solution can really plug and play. And, technology is going to be the biggest disruptor. It already is, I think, and it is changing at a very fast pace. But it also throws up in every adversity. I think there are opportunities which come up, and definitely technology is creating that kind of a disruption, which I think is very positive and really going to throw up many, many opportunities for us as a country. This one, I think we've already spoken a lot about. So, Indian democracy, like I mentioned, people who don't, I haven't put the number of toilets there, but people who don't even have toilets have mobile phones. You can see that very clearly. And that's where that's what makes me talk about digital India. Okay. I'm just trying to, in the interest of time, skip a few slides, so just bear with me for a minute. These are some of the initiatives which we have taken at Yes Bank to use digitization and connect with the consumers, because I think we now call ourselves a technology company which also does banking. And I think that is the kind of disruption that technology is really creating, that every company will need to think that from here on, what is the path that they need to take to remain agile and to remain relevant to the system around us. And therefore, these are the recent developments which have been done at the bank, including Yes Tag, where we are solving the mobility, some of the mobility solutions are being provided to consumers. We have a smart box. So we had a company, everyone's aware of Snapdeal, and they had a problem. They had a problem that when consumers were returning products to them, there was a lag of about 15-20 days in making the payment, returning the money paid by the consumer. Sometimes that would stretch to even a month, month and a half. We provided them a solution by way of a smart box, where the moment the courier company collects the goods that you've ordered back from you, and they certified them to be in okay condition, the payment immediately gets pulled out from their account and gets credited to the consumer's account. So that is a use case which I can share with all of you, where we have used technology to make life easier and make your experience as a consumer, as a citizen, better. We are also working very actively on blockchain and UPI, API banking, of course. We've heard about Beam in the morning. We're providing a lot of prepaid cards to make life easier for consumers again. We are also trying to work very closely with the government. We have a dedicated team of people which is looking at providing solutions only which are hedging on whatever the initiatives the government is taking. And the government has a lot of schemes which actually go out to benefit every citizen, and they want to reach out to obviously the less accessible areas, the rural areas, the far interiors. And I think if something can move fast and make it happen, instead of having a brick and mortar branches, like government is trying to do that as well for financial inclusion. But I think if somebody can really bridge that or take a leap in terms of time, that is technology, and that is really helping us to reach to the consumers. So some of these schemes are there. We spoke about Saubhagya. Somebody was talking about Saubhagya scheme in the morning. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. All of these schemes require digitization if we have to make DBT possible. These are some of the sectors we are working in: food and agri-business, urban logistics, tourism. Again, one of the solutions which we have provided, which I can share with you, and I think being a woman, and I still don't see more than 10% women in this room. So I think India also has a huge issue of gender diversity which needs to be addressed. And I think Yes Bank has made a small contribution by working with the Asmita scheme in the state of Maharashtra. So this is a scheme which provides sanitary pads to girls who are in the age of 11 to 25, and at a subsidized cost. The most of the cost is being borne by the government. The government then provides the subsidy to self-help groups, and these self-help groups are then reaching out to the girls. Now, when we started digitizing this whole scheme, we realized that a lot of beneficiaries listed in the scheme were actually boys, schoolboys, who definitely were not going to benefit from the scheme. So we've, I think technology helped us to remove those kind of, and really ensure that the funds reach where they are meant to reach. They reach the beneficiary who they are meant for. And the dropout rate from schools after a girl hits puberty is very high. And this is a scheme which is targeted at specifically addressing that issue, so that girls can continue to go to school, and maybe a few years down the line we can have more women in this hall here with us. So we've made an app. This app is available on Google Store, on the App Store. You can download it. You can see it, how it's working. We've also got the low-cost manufacturers of sanitary pads on this app with us. And we also have startups which are actually manufacturing reusable sanitary napkins also on this particular app. So this is a use case which I wanted to share, because I know all of us have been hearing in the inaugural session a lot of macro stuff, but how is it really affecting our life is something which I want to bring to the table. Similarly, ICDS, it is an integrated child and women development scheme, which is there. Every state has this scheme. It's a scheme which is run by the center. The states benefit from it. They put half the money, and half the money comes to them from the center, like all other schemes. They are supposed to have Anganwadis, where children are sent from the less privileged areas. You won't believe it, but more than the children, it was the Anganwadi Sevikas, the teachers who are teaching there. And one Anganwadi Sevika actually committed suicide because she did not get her salary for almost 2 years. We all know that there's so much problem of ghost employees in the government. We are trying to help the government to deal with that particular problem. In this, there is a biometric solution which is there. So when the teacher comes in the morning, she registers through a biometric device, and the attendance gets registered, and it travels. And now, we have been able to shorten the time to between 7, oh sorry, it didn't, did it not change? Sorry, this is ICDS, that one was Asmita fault. So the teachers are getting their salary now in a period of about 7 to 10 days. Compared to the earlier 2 months, or sometimes them not being registered, and like we heard about Munna Bhai and somebody going and undressing just to get pension. I think biometric is something which will really help us to eradicate this problem of ghost employees or ghost pensioners, and the government is making steps in that direction. And certainly if private sector also comes along, then I think we will become Digital India much sooner than we anticipate. The other solution is for smart cities. We were talking about G to S to C to something, but by doing this, we have come up with a card. It is one card. It is which is also and a wallet which is also available on your mobile, which you can load with cash and pay for all your G2C services, whether it's parking charges, civic amenities, property tax. And these cards also work on your regular restaurants and retail stores. So it will make the life of a citizen much easier. This solution has been implemented in Nasik Smart City already by Yes Bank. And we are now trying to, so whatever we are doing, of course, India is a big country and it takes time to make things happen here. But all these solutions are getting implemented in various states and various cities. And then we are taking it back to the government, showcasing to them that this is what we've provided and how we can replicate it across states. And if they can share these, case studies, then the replication can happen far faster. This is a very innovative solution, and I think this is something which really touches our lives. There's an AIMS Rishikesh. It is a 1,000-bed hospital which has come up in Rishikesh, 8 kilometers from Lakshman Jhula. And believe me, that hospital, and I've visited it, has the best amenities and the best medical facilities that anybody can imagine. Obviously, you don't have to be Einstein to figure that out. Anybody who buys equipment today, will buy it better than the guy who bought it a year back. So, they're putting the best healthcare facilities there. But the people who are coming there are still from the backward areas, and but they are adapting beautifully to this solution which has been provided by Yes Bank, where they have a card and they don't have to queue up again and again to make a payment for every test which they want to get done at the hospital. They have a card, you walk into the hospital, you get your card loaded, and then everything is seamless for you. So this has already been implemented, of course, and we've had Dr. Ravikant with us recently as well, to give a demo and talk about this to other hospitals and AIMS institutes which are there. I think this can really help and make the life of people easier. So I think technology is making our lives easier and will continue to do that. This is an ePDS solution, and I think this is the last one that I have. What we've done is, through ePDS, again, the same issues that any other government scheme has, we have put biometric devices at the Kirana stores. So when people come there, you have your ration card, but you also have your biometric identity, which is going live. You can log in from there. Whatever material you want to buy, sugar, wheat, whatever you buy, it happens through an integrated system. And even the Kirana store will be able to source better, and goods will not rot in their godowns because of overstocking. So it is a completely seamless system which we are trying to integrate and provide all the information back to the government then on how the ePDS, how successful it has been, who has been the beneficiary, how many people have actually taken the ration for the month from a particular store. All of that information is going to be available to us because of implementation of this particular solution. Thank you so much.